Let's talk more about the border and Joe Biden's executive action that he took yesterday. Why did he do this? Well, I personally think it's obvious. He wants votes, and that is it. The border mess he created by dismantling Trump's policies has become one of the biggest issues for voters heading into November for a variety of reasons. Well, people are extremely worried about national security. Americans are sick over the financial burden this has created. And there's also the major element not many media outlets are talking about. But we are non-citizens now voting in state and local elections, if you can believe that. So Biden tried something yesterday to win back some voters, period, the end. And now he's getting killed by some members of his own party for this. And he's getting exposed by the rights for now admitting Trump was right in taking executive action to secure the border, which Trump did so successfully. And here's what some Democrats have said since yesterday. Congresswoman Jayapal of Washington says, it's extremely disappointing to see the Biden administration severely restricting access to asylum. On to the Congresswoman Ilhan Omar of Minnesota. She says, I'm deeply disappointed that President Biden issued this cruel executive order. And the list, it goes on. And I want to remind everyone how absurd this really all is. The border under Trump, it wasn't even an issue. He had it fixed. It wasn't even a talking point. Then all of a sudden, it broke when Biden got into office. That's because Democrats were so anti-Trump anything. Biden came in, he wiped everything out our former president had put in place. And now Biden is losing votes over it. So now it is time for some damage control. He wants to be able to say on TV during the first debate that he did something, that he had no choices besides take executive action because Republicans and Trump, they wouldn't allow the passing of the so-called Senate bipartisan security bill. And when in reality, this problem didn't even exist when he took office. Now, when you look at things from a financial perspective, we may be on the hook for all the migrant benefits, upwards of $400 billion. And when it comes to the drugs, here's part of a news release from California Governor Gavin Newsom just last week. He announced the seizure of an estimated 5.8 million pills containing fentanyl statewide, including at ports of entry along the southern border since the very beginning of the year. And as far as national security goes, two men, get this, they tried breaking into the Marine Corps base in Quantico 2 days ago. We touched on it yesterday, but here's who they were. One of the truck's occupants was a Jordanian national who recently crossed the southern border into the United States, and that one occupant was on the U.S. government's terrorist watch list. That's who these guys were. Okay, look, Biden and his administration, they got this one wrong, or else we wouldn't be talking about it, and it wouldn't be a concern for voters at all. And that is the latest happening down at the border in this executive action. Okay, a lot to discuss here. For help with that, we are joined by former senior advisor at the Department of Homeland Security and author of Terrorist on the Border and in Our Country, Charles Marino, along with Goliad County Sheriff, Texas Sheriff Roy Boyd. Gentlemen, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
Charles, I'm going to start with you. Thoughts on what I just said right there and what this executive action might do or attract more people coming across, if you can believe it?
Yeah, now look, another embarrassment for this administration, and rightfully so. Biden's executive order is an insult to the American people. It continues to invite illegal immigration, doesn't touch the 10 to 15 million who've already illegally entered the country. It continues to line the pockets of the cartels. And finally, it leaves our country, the United States of America, in a much more dangerous place and susceptible to a terrorist attack.
Sheriff, the ICE memo that went out to from the Biden administration to ICE, out to the ICE agents, if they come across a migrant coming across illegally, the way I understand it is if they display fear whatsoever, then they're going to get a case for asylum. That's what they'll all do. That just, again, just invites anyone to come through. Nothing's going to change.
Exactly. Number one, they put a loophole in it that everybody's going to manipulate and take advantage of. But the real question is, it says in there that if the border crossings, illegal border crossings exceed or reach 2,500 per day for 7 days, as far as an average goes, then they're going to take action. Well, my question is, how are they going to tally up those?